Tonight, the owner of a family-run takeaway shop in Broken Hill left devastated following a reported theft. And a 51-year-old Far North man dies in a single vehicle rollover at Wintinna.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with Ruby Kamain begins now.
Good evening. A Broken Hill business owner has told 7 Spencer Golf News he fears for the safety of his staff after thieves allegedly forced their way into his takeaway shop over the weekend. He says the intruders left with a large amount of cash, the entire incident captured on CCTV.
Under the cover of darkness and wielding a torch, this alleged thief making their way through the kitchen at Hocko's chicken shop early Friday morning, entering the office where the owner says a large amount of cash was kept. A second person keeping watch from the drive-through window while the cash is stolen.
Financially, it's really hurt us. Yeah, we're a young family. We've got 3 young kids, and we're trying to open a second store in town. And yeah, it's not the sort of stuff we need.
Owner Jim Hocking believes the unwelcome visitors forced their way into his Argent Street business by the drive-through window. He says there's normally no cash kept in the store, but on this occasion there was. Money put aside for the opening of a new bicycle store.
We had a fair bit of savings there for stock, and the little mongrels just got in on the right night.
To go into an establishment in Broken Hill that's covered in CCTV cameras, both in that store and adjacent to it, yeah, it is brazen.
And although the entire incident was captured on camera, the business has upgraded its security measures even further.
It's extremely worrying to lay there like last couple of nights and not know if they're going to come back. So we've installed more security cameras, we've put alarms on the building.
Despite the hit, the new bike shop did open, albeit with less fanfare than planned.
We plan to stay here for a long time, so if the community keeps supporting us, we'll keep working hard, and it's not going to deter us.
Police are asking anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A 51-year-old man has died following a single vehicle crash in the state's far north. Just after 9 yesterday morning, emergency services were called to the Stewart Highway at Wintinna following reports of a vehicle rollover. The driver from the far north sadly died at the scene. The Stewart Highway was closed while major crash investigators examined the scene and has since been reopened. Police say it's the 42nd life lost on South Australian roads, compared with 37 this time last year. A 28-year-old woman has been arrested after an alleged pursuit through Kadina with a baby reportedly in the car. Police say officers tried to pull over her Mitsubishi on Grave Street Thursday afternoon, but she failed to stop, leading to a short pursuit through the town. Patrols on foot approached the vehicle when it was slowed by traffic. It's alleged the driver then accelerated towards police. Police say the motorist tested positive to methamphetamine and illicit drugs were also found in the vehicle. She was charged with a raft of offences and will appear in Kadina Court next month. The baby was not injured. 2 men have been fined after they were caught drink driving at Roxby Downs. On Saturday night, police conducting a driver testing station submitted a motorist to a breath test. A 61-year-old Glenelg man returned a positive result of 0.056. Meanwhile, on Sunday night, police tested a 57-year-old man who returned a positive result of 0.061. Both males were slapped with a fine and directed not to drive for 6 hours. New reforms to tackle regional homelessness in South Australia has been welcomed by support services. But with no new funding being committed as of yet, some workers say the changes don't go far enough.
Rolling up the blinds to shed light on a major problem plaguing our vulnerable youth.
They're just feeling trapped, that they can't expand or go anywhere else because there is no housing, and COVID's made it really, really tough.
According to Anglicare, rental affordability for young people on youth allowance is non-existent and only getting worse.
We had one property a couple of months ago that was available, a private rental that was affordable for people on low income, and there was about 36 people going for that property.
It's a market that they can't even get into at the moment.
Sadly, it's a common story. Since July last year to March, more than 280 people at risk of being homeless have been supported across South Australia. 32% were young people, according to West Coast Youth. The service claims the demand on crisis accommodation is only growing.
We're really lucky to have a youth crisis shelter in our community because lots of the other regions across the Eyre and Western don't have a youth accommodation dedicated crisis facility.
Putting more strain on the already buckling system, the crisis shelter in Port Lincoln can accommodate up to 6 youths per night, providing the basics of a warm bed and roof over their heads.
It is just like a home.
Eyre Peninsula Community Foundation helping fund new blinds as part of the shelter's revamp.
It's a need here that we can fill.
Today, the state government unveiled its new reforms to tackle regional homelessness. In a nutshell, it's creating alliances for support services to work together.
Homelessness is absolutely everybody's business, so to be able to have a formed joint response across a region with existing country service providers for country people can only have positive impacts.
But with no new funding on the table, some say it's spectacle substance and simply a band-aid solution.
It's just really important that young people can be supported in an environment where they feel safe and comfortable, but also that is friendly and welcoming.
The Human Services Minister was unavailable for comment. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight as Spencer Gulf Town welcomes a new war memorial to honour our local veterans. And a Broken Hill High School celebrates its 100th birthday with students past and present. Welcome back. The regional community of Carrington in the state's far north has welcomed the instalment of a new war memorial. Residents say they hope it will also draw tourists to visit and stay, helping to boost the local economy.
Honouring local veterans and serving soldiers. Carrington residents now able to pay tribute to the 117 soldiers who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
It's nice to be able to have the locals to come to the town where they served and pay their respects on Anzac Day and Remembrance Day.
The new memorial replicating the names listed on honour roll boards within the town's Memorial Hall. With access limited inside the hall, residents are now excited to offer a memorial 24/7.
The whole purpose of it was to have an outside memorial with the names on for people to be able to see, access it at any time.
The war memorial made possible thanks to a $10,000 Saluting the Service state government grant.
It is a really positive revitalisation of the town. It goes with the existing caravan park, it goes with the existing fantastic community, the rodeo and all those sorts of things.
Each plaque commemorating Carrington locals who served in World War I, World War II and the Vietnam War.
To see their family names on the memorial, and we a lot of people that sort of came up and thanked us, and it's actually not about thanking us, it's actually remembering those who served.
It's hoped the memorial will give tourists another reason to visit the town, helping to boost the local economy.
It's a big boost, I think, for the whole town to be able to attract people here.
There's plenty go past here, so I think it's got to help.
Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Former students and staff have returned to Broken Hill High School with an open night held to mark its centenary. While teaching methods and buildings may have changed over the years, the school says it's keen to preserve its heritage.
Walking through the corridors of Broken Hill High School once again, the school opening its doors to alumni as it marks its 100th birthday.
That wasn't too bad there. There's a couple of good old teachers we had.
Marilyn Gardner worked as a library assistant in the late 60s and says there's plenty that's different since her last visit.
It's very, very nice. It's good, but gee, things have changed. When I think of what I had to learn at school and what the children learn now, it's just amazing.
The internet and electronic devices, the most obvious change, now embedded in education.
Some of the technology now they got, in the days of yonder, we'd be playing records, and now they got it on a little card about that big.
But there's some things that look just as familiar as they did decades ago.
We're still making the pencil box. I don't see too many kids carrying around in their bag, but they still make it and send it home.
While there's been a century of evolution at the school, those working there today are keen to preserve its history.
We've sent one of our P&C members across to do archive training so that we are able to better store and better look after our records for the future.
The buildings may change, but the school's place in the fabric of Broken Hill remains.
We do have a fair stream of people coming back to check out the school and check out the history and their place in the history of the school.
Lachlan Itter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Port Augusta's Carlingford School is brainstorming ideas for a new play area after successfully receiving funding to reduce bullying in schools. It's hoped the new revamped yard will provide a safe space for students to play together.
Leaving their mark on the schoolyard. These Carlton School students putting their best ideas forward, which will soon see their outdoor play space transformed.
We should make 4 square more, and we should put some basketball net on the basketball hoops.
And redo the lines on the basketball courts and stuff.
We should move the big court, the big basketball ring down a little bit for the little kids. It's going to be easier for the little kids to get along.
The school was successful in receiving a $5,000 Protective Physical Environment state government grant as part of the National Day of Action Against Bullying and Violence campaign.
We're looking at employing a company called Elite Marking, and they're going to be able to come and paint over the marks that we've got on the ground, but also incorporate some new elements.
It's hoped the new play area will bring students together in safe physical environments.
The kids love the 4 square, but we don't really have a set place at the moment for it. And also we want to put in things like alphabets and we want to put in a number board so that teachers can actually bring the kids out.
For these students, their ideas will form a piece of the school's history for years to come.
If I go to high school and if I come back here, I'll be able to see all my stuff that I achieved.
The works are expected to be completed by the end of the term. Katrina Musson, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. Cyber experts warn locals to not become complacent online. And Broken Hill Council's tree policy open for public consultation. Hello again. Concerning figures have revealed 1 in 5 Australian workers who have experienced privacy issues have failed to report them, according to security company Mimecast. The new research being revealed as part of National Privacy Awareness Week, with hopes to warn locals of online risks.
Working from home has quickly become a new norm, using file sharing and video calls to complete jobs, but cybersecurity experts are ringing the alarm bells.
Some concerning things in there.
New figures have revealed 1 in 5 Australian workers who have experienced a privacy issue didn't report it to their employer. Experts say of more concern was 40% didn't think it was important to tell their company.
Your customers, if they've trusted you with their data, and then that data has become exposed, that has very immediate and kind of significant impacts to their loyalty to a particular company, as one example.
They say workers are becoming too complacent when it comes to privacy issues, which could have major consequences. So far this year, Australia has lost more than $60 million to scammers, according to the consumer watchdog.
There is, I believe, some work to be done there to make sure that Australian employees really get the importance of doing the right thing when it comes to locking their computers, protecting personal devices if those devices have company data or personal information on there.
The harsh figures have been released as part of National Privacy Week, which aims to educate both companies and employees on how to stay safe. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
To mark World Asthma Day tomorrow, nurses across the region are raising more awareness for the respiratory condition. Affecting nearly 3 million Australians, this year's theme is uncovering asthma misconceptions.
Bringing global attention to a common health issue. This country and outback health nurse determined to raise awareness for asthma during tomorrow's National Day.
Asthma is very common in Australia. About 1 in 10 people have asthma, and we can still improve the management of it.
Glenda taking the opportunity to bring attention to the symptoms.
Perhaps a cough, shortness of breath, there might be a wheeze, which is a high-pitched noise when you're breathing, and they might possibly have some chest tightness, so it might be one or all of those symptoms.
Coinciding with this year's theme of myth-busting, she says people cannot grow out of asthma, but that's not the only common misconception.
And so I'd really encourage people, if they're getting short of breath as they get older, that they wouldn't expect. They should really talk to their doctor about it and perhaps have it investigated.
Many tools now available to help prevent an attack.
improve the asthma control. It may help prevent asthma attacks. So it's really important for people to take their preventer regularly if they've been prescribed it. It can make the world of difference for their asthma control.
She encourages anyone who may feel shortness of breath to consider getting checked.
I do run respiratory clinics in Port Broughton, Gladstone, Laura and Crystal Brook, and I'm looking at doing a bit of work in Eyre Peninsula.
More information can be found online. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Broken Hill City Council has released its draft tree management policy for public review. The comprehensive document outlines plans for planting and maintaining trees around the city, as well as action to be taken should a tree pose a risk to the public. If introduced, the policy would see a database created, including every council-managed tree, to ensure those in poor condition are attended to in a timely manner. More than 120 high-risk trees are identified in the document. Stay with us after the break. Our reporter Shari Hams will bring us the results from weekend netball. And we'll have the weather details with Alex Sykes. Welcome back. AFL Broken Hill is calling on locals to consider picking up a whistle and umpiring footy games. Currently, umpires cover a number of games, including men's, women's and reserves, sometimes running out for 3 different matches. It's hoped young people and recent ex-players could step up to the mark and help reduce the workload.
You won't be thrown in the deep end, and if you want to learn, you want to get fit, you want to earn some money, give us a ring.
Boundary, field and gold umpire positions are available, with training to be provided for the right people. Netball season is now in full swing, and with slightly windier conditions over the weekend, goal shooters were kept on their toes. Our reporter Shari Hams has this week's sports wrap.
Port Pirie netballers are ecstatic to be back on court with last season cancelled due to COVID-19 restrictions. The heat and wind on Saturday packed a punch, with both sides limiting the intensity of their warm-ups to be able to run out the full 60 minutes of netball in a late 20-degree day. SM Celtic smashed a 20-goal win over Port, defeating them 61-41. Ashlyn Schreider winning a spot in Best Players and the A1 Intersport Player of the Week. Central Risdon were also no match for Blue Wren, losing by over 30 goals. Over to the reserve side, and SM Celtic defeated Solomon Town 30-22. Blue Wren took out Central Risdon by 27 goals. Up to Port Augusta Netball Association. Railways defeated Corn 65-25, a big win for them. In Whyalla Netball, it was a tight match for YCW and the Kiwis 34-29. True Blues smashed Ravens 60-24. Down to Port Lincoln Netball. Imperials and Bostons were neck and neck, with both teams starting the quarter well. Tight defence from Boston's side saw a turnover, but Imperials scored the opening goal. It was a low-scoring affair for the two teams, with Imperials coming out on top by 2 goals. The other Port Lincoln A-grade match saw Wanilla and Waybacks taking a nervous start with misfired passes and missed goals. The second quarter, the game tightened, with Waybacks shuffling their team around and bringing on a sub-player. By the final quarter, both teams battled it out on windy conditions, with all players giving it their best. Wanilla took home a 1-goal win, 45-44. Over to the northeastern areas, North Clare took on Minman at Mintero at Saturday's clash. It was a tight game between the two, with Minman taking home a win by 1 goal. Udunda Robertstown were defeated by RSMU 27-43. And South Clare came out on top against BSR. Up to Broken Hill Netball, Morgies defeated Nabstars 22-18 goals, and New Kids were no match to St Joey Jesters, losing by 19 goals. And that's all for sport from across the region. If you would like your team's sporting results featured, let us know through our Facebook page.
Time now to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Alex Sykes.
Thanks, Ruby. A mild autumn day across the Gulf today. From 3 p.m, Port Lincoln reached 17, Broken Hill got to 15 and Coffin Bay was 18. Looking further out across the region now, sunny in Port Augusta, 19 degrees, Whyalla was 17, Port Pirie sunny and was 20 degrees. It was mostly sunny in Woodna, 19, partly cloudy in Kadina and Cleve, both 16 degrees. Clare got to 15, Cooper Pedy was sunny and 21, and Adelaide was partly cloudy and 18. 18 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite image now, a band of high jet stream cloud is flowing from southern South Australia to the east. It is not rain-bearing. Low cloud about the southeast in onshore winds is only bringing the odd drop of rain. Skies are mostly clear in the north under a ridge of high pressure. Moving on to tomorrow's weather outlook now, and we'll start with the Gulf waters. A calm day, south to southeasterly winds 10 to 15 knots, seas around 1 metre, and south to southwesterly swell 1 to 1.5 metres. Another fine day forecast. Port Lincoln partly cloudy 19, Cleve is set to reach 18 degrees, Woodna will reach 21, Whyalla partly cloudy and 18 degrees, Port Augusta 21, and Kadina is set to top 20 degrees. There will be light morning frost in Port Pirie, 21 there, Clare morning frost, they're mostly sunny, set to reach 18 degrees, and Broken Hill a sunny 19 degrees. Taking a look further through the week now, mainly fine conditions across the Gulf on Thursday, except for in Port Lincoln where showers are forecast. A max of 26 in Cooper Pedy, with the region's low forecast in Kadina and Adelaide. Showers forecast for Port Augusta, Woodna, Whyalla, Port Lincoln, Port Pirie, Kadina and Adelaide on Friday, partly cloudy in Broken Hill and Cooper Pedy, and showers again forecast for Port Pirie, Kadina, Whyalla, Port Lincoln and Adelaide on Saturday, partly cloudy elsewhere. The region's max set to be 23, while the region's low is forecast to be 20 degrees. And that's all the weather from me for tonight, Ruby. It's back to you.
Lovely, thanks for that, Alex. And that's the local news this Tuesday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later. Until then, enjoy your evening. Good night.